Hey now, guys, what is happening? Good evening to you all, wherever you are on this wonderful planet of ours. I am back here with Volume 8 War of the Gods, epic collection of the mighty Thor, covering issues 242 to 259, annual number 5, and also Marvel Spotlight number 30, covering 1975 to 1977. So yeah, we are just blasting through the 70s now. It feels like it was just yesterday, actually August 1st, when I started volume 1. Way back in 1962 was the first Thor issue. Let me just assemble this right here. And now we are 15 years in, all the way to 1977, and really enjoyed this. So Jerry Conway is no longer the writer. Kind of glad. I mean, I had mixed feelings about his run. I thought Volume 6, Into the Dark Nebula, was pretty good. And Volume 7, which was You Look Unchained, was okay. It had its moments, but eh. So now we've moved on to Len Wein. Wein. What an unfortunate name. Len Wein takes over the book with issue 242. John Buscema is still the penciler, which is awesome. And again, cannot say more about John Buscema and his writing. So following the last volume, of course, the last couple issues, 240, 241, had Thor and Odin dealing with the Egyptian gods Horus and his parents, Osiris and Isis, and their other misbegotten son Seth, who was like Loki. He was like the Loki of the Egyptian god set. So that mirrored that. And Odin was supposed to have returned to Asgard. That's what everybody thought. Thor, everybody just was like, yeah, okay, Odin. We found Odin. Odin had amnesia. Well, he didn't have amnesia. He placed a spell of forgetfulness so that he could walk among the mortals and I guess know what it's like to be mortal. So he returns to Asgard, or so everyone thought, but he never made it. Well, he did make it, but it wasn't really Odin. And what do I mean by that? It turns out, I really don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I guess the point of this review is to tell you. So I will say spoilers, guys, because a lot happens in this run of books. Oh, by the way, this book was only 392 pages total, including the extra stuff. It ends with page 378, and then it goes into the extras. So this was actually one of the shortest Marvel books, definitely the shortest Thor book out of all of the 21 that have been released, or 22 books of Thor that have been released. So I started it yesterday and finished it today. So, okay, how do I do this? Okay, so the first storyline is 242 to 245. We have a 4-part storyline involving Zarko, the Tomorrow Man, the Servitor, who is his giant mechanical servant, hence the name Servitor. And wait, hold on. Did I finish my thought about Odin? Oh no, okay, I'll get to Odin. Hold. Just give me a second, guys. I'm just gonna go through the issues real quickly. Actually, the storylines worked really well. Like everything is pretty crystal clear and succinct. So 242 to 245 has the Tomorrow Man taking Thor, the Warriors 3, and Jane Foster into the future because he's getting fucked over by these 3 creatures called the Time Twisters, who are from the far future, and they go back every 30 centuries, which is 3,000 years, from the future into the past. So wherever the hell they started from, they go to like here, and then I guess the 80th century, and then the 50th century, and then the 20th century. So Zarko is the ruler of the 50th century. So we're talking about like the 4900s, okay? And he goes back in time to get Thor in the 20th century to help him stop the Time Twisters, because he just knows that Thor's the only one that can help him. I don't know. Why not go to the Fantastic Four? Why not get Spider-Man? No, he's got to get Thor. So the Warriors 3 come along. Jane comes along. And trust me, I don't know why Jane comes along. Well, Jane forces herself every so often to come along, but there's a reason we find out later. I forget, is it in this issue or in the storyline? Well, okay, so what happens is at some point, guys, I forget where, but in this set of books, Jane takes a sword and actually hits it against the wall and becomes Sif. So it was the 248 to 250. That's what it was, which I'll get to in a second. So anyway, I just spoiled it. So Jane doesn't become Sif yet. Just hold on one second. So 242 to 245 has Thor, the Warriors 3, and Jane helping Zarko fight the Time Twisters. And a decent enough storyline. Zarko is a despotic ruler, but he needs help from Thor so that his kingdom doesn't get destroyed. Of course, it eventually does. So they go into the far future to kill the Time Twisters and to prevent their going back every 30 centuries to wreck the future. And of course, eventually the 20th century. That's Zarko's benign, benevolent reason for coming to get Thor. Whether that's true or not is irrelevant. I mean, he wants to save his own kingdom, but there's one point where he actually lets his kingdom get destroyed and doesn't care. But that's a 4-parter, guys. 242 through 245. Then 246 and 247 was a strange one. Thor and Jane again, the tag along, they go to a Latin American, South American country called Costa Verde, where Fire Lord is under the thrall of this chick named the Gypsy, who works with a group of guerrilla rebel fighters trying to get the the presidential palace of Costa Verde, which I guess is an allusion to Fidel Castro. And because around this time in the 70s, there were a lot of dictators in South America, in Chile, Argentina, Central America, of course, Cuba. So I guess Len Wein is like, yeah, let's be topical here and talk about a despotic Spanish piece of shit ruler who is keeping the people down and wants to take over. No, but actually, it's interesting. It wasn't the president. It was the rebels who were the bad guys, and the president was actually a good guy. And Fire Lord is helping the rebels take over the presidential palace with the Gypsy. And then at one point, Thor becomes enthralled by the Gypsy. So now the rebels have Thor and Fire Lord to attack the presidential palace, which is like, first of all, how does an Asgardian god and the former Herald of Galactus, how the fuck do they get enthralled by by the way, the Gypsy doesn't have mutant power. She has a jewel, like some kind of crystal. I forget if it's in her titty or in her brain, like in her forehead, but she has this jewel that hypnotizes men, and she's that powerful that she can control an Asgardian god and a Herald of Galactus. Okay, whatever. The storyline was interesting, but again, like it reminded me of those old 60s stories that Stan Lee used to write, where Thor fought a gangster, an alien, or a communist. It's like, what? Thor doesn't need to be fighting simple peasants in some little Spanish third world country. Why is Fire Lord helping them? Why is Fire Lord involved? It just doesn't make any sense. These are characters who should be fighting gods and monsters and I guess aliens trying to take over the world. I mean, like Stan Lee's aliens are always like these hokey, dumb, named Krog or Gormoth or whatever, or Stone Man from Saturn. Stupid. But yeah, they should be fighting gods and not fucking little Spanish twerps. That was 246 and 247. Then we have Marvel Spotlight 30, which I actually was this was probably my most favorite story. No Thor. So while Thor and Jane go off to Costa Verde, the Warriors 3, this comes directly after 247. So Marvel Spotlight 30, and they make reference to Thor going off to Costa Verde. The Warriors 3 decide to help this suicidal girl find her fiance, who is helping. No, he's not helping. He's forced into a diamond heist in the Diamond Exchange District, which is like 6th Avenue and 47th Street, 48th Street. I've been around there, so I know the area. And his name is Arnold. He's a big nerd, and it's pretty much a almost said Mel Gibson. It's like a Mel Brooks comedy, like a screwball comedy of sorts, where like, I don't know, like High Anxiety or Silent Movie or even Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. It's a really kooky story. And of course it's the Warriors 3 with all their comments, their jabs at Volstagg. And it involves a homeless guy, a taxi driver, not Travis Bickle, but a funny, wise ass taxi driver, and they're fighting gangsters and dudes in a bar. It's a chaotic storyline that really makes no sense, but it's funny, and that was probably my favorite story thus far, and it was outside of a Thor comic. Then after Marvel Spotlight 30, we go back to Thor with 248, 9, and 50. Now, the 250th issue is not a double-sized. It's a regular 18-page story. Yeah, that's it. But it's a 3-parter where they finally confront Odin, who it turns out to be the Man-Gog in disguise. And Egron, for those of you who may not remember, Egron, and I forgot to mention this when I reviewed Volume 7, Egron attempted to take over Asgard in issue 217, the very first story in Volume 7, Ulick Unchained. Odin puts the Grand Vizier in the Tower of Solitude, replaces him with Egron, and you're like, what? Like, at first I was like, is Odin fucking stupid again? Is he retarded? No, it turns out that Egron transformed Man-Gog into Odin and put him on the throne. So now Asgard is like in a state of disrepair and desolation because Odin, Man-Gog, and Egron have taken over. It's like in Lord of the Rings, guys. Remember how Grima Wormtongue is talking to Thormir? And he's like, the whole kingdom is just falling apart. It's like that. So basically, Egron is Wormtongue and Odin is Thormir. And I like that parallel too between Lord of the Rings and Thor. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Len Wein probably lifted that from Tolkien. So yeah, so Thor, and this is where Jane becomes Sif, and she becomes Sif for the duration of this story. Thank God, because Jane is so fucking annoying. For those of you who may not remember, in the last volume, in issue 235, 236, Jane was dying. So Sif sacrificed herself by putting her life energy into Jane so that Jane could live, but Sif was no more. Boy, did that last long. So now Sif is back, and it's tantamount to how Dawn becomes Thor and then back to Dawn. But so far, Sif has remained as Sif. Like she doesn't want to go back to being Jane. But they're two different people. So, and Thor's like, my lady Sif, I'm so happy to see you, even though I'm in love with Jane. And I don't know, it's weird. Thor is such a guy. He's such an alpha Chad. Thor is an alpha Chad. He just doesn't give a fuck. He's like, oh, Jane's here? I love her. Oh, Sif is here? I love her. And yeah, everybody, the Warriors 3, everybody, Hildegard, Krista, Vizier, the Warriors 3, Balder, even Carnilla, they all get in on it, and they depose Egron, Man-Gog, but there's still no Thor. They don't know what the fuck or where the fuck Thor is, and that's all I read yesterday, 242 to 250 and Marvel Spotlight 30, and then today I read 251 all the way through 259 and the annual 5. So 250. So now we have the search for Odin. Now, the overall arch from 251 to 259, I'd say, is a 9-issue search for Thor storyline, but I did not put that. If you guys look on the post, I separated each storyline. The overall arch of the storyline is the search for Odin, but it was cut up into different storylines. So 251, Thor goes to he goes to Valhalla and confronts Hela because he thinks possibly Thor thinks Odin is dead. But it turns out, nope, he's not dead. But he runs into Hurricane, the barbarian from way back from one of the Tales of Asgard storylines from the 60s. And he confronts Hela. She's like, no, Odin's not here. Sorry, goodbye, get the fuck out. Then 252, 253, we actually get a 2-part Tales to Asgard backup. Well, I'm jumping ahead. So 252, 253, I should say, is a 2-part Ulick storyline where Mimir, the fiery well guardian, or the guardian of the fiery well, something like that, he says to Thor, find me the ruby eye of the Cyclopean dragon, and I will tell you where Odin is. So Thor's like, cool, I'm going to do that. So he goes underground alone, just like he went to Valhalla alone. Everybody wants to help him. Sif, the Warriors 3, everybody wants to tag along, except Volstagg, of course. He wants to protect the rear. But Thor's like, no, I'm going to go by myself. Relax. Goes down to find this dragon, and who does he run into? Ulick the troll. Because why not? Ulick is, I guess, one of the prominent Rogues Gallery members. So he fights, and this is weird. Like, he fights Ulick in 252, and then in 253, he teams up with Ulick yet again. If you guys remember from, what was it, 210, 211? Thor 210 and 211, or no, even recently as what was it? Well, anyway, I forget, guys, but read your books and you tell me. But he teams up with Ulick yet again to get the ruby eye. Turns out, there's this creature named Trog trying to destroy the Troll Kingdom. So Thor decides, okay, maybe I need this ruby eye in order to find where Odin is, but you know what? I'm such a good guy, and the trolls are pathetic. I'll help them. So, and what happens, by the way? Ulick betrays. No, he doesn't. I was gonna say Ulick betrays Thor. No, he doesn't. Thor helps Ulick defeat Trog and saves the trolls, but at the end, he throws the ruby to banish Trog, and they laugh at him. That's what it was. At the very end, I gotta show you. Oh, it's so bad. Ulick and the trolls just laugh at Thor. Hold on. That was the end of 250, right? 239. You guys are gonna love this. I gotta show you guys. Hold on. I don't want you guys to see me, Mr. Magoo, this. Oh my God. So yeah. So well, he throws. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll fix the lighting here, but he throws the ruby at Trog, and then the final page, it's like Thor leaves defeated because he lost his one chance to get to find out where Odin is, and he saves the trolls, and they all laugh at him as he leaves, and that's the end of the fucking storyline. They're just ha 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 ha, and then there's a description about how their laughter cuts very deep inside Thor's breast or his heart. That's like, you fucking asshole, you ungrateful trolls. Fuck you guys. But that's that. So then, and then we get a 2-part in 252, 253, Tales of Asgard. And it's young Thor proving that he doesn't need he fights a giant, and Odin tells him it's the warrior, not the weapon, that makes the man. That's basically one of these fables, if you will. And then he fights. It's a good 7-page filler, if you will, but I don't know. I question if they really needed that story in there as a backup. But that tells me that maybe Thor's starting to falter in sales, so they wanted to put in a Tales of Asgard story to excite people. Then 254 is a reprint of Thor 159 because some editor, I don't know if it's Marv Wolfman, Len Wein, Roy Thomas, or Archie Goodwin, one of these guys, but They fucking missed the deadline, just like in Captain America, just like in Avengers, just like in Fantastic Four twice. So the December 1976 issue, which is 254, is just a reprint. And that sucks. So then 266 is a two-part storyline. What was that one? I totally forgot what that one was about. What was it? I don't know. I should know. The Lurker in the Dark. Oh yeah, that storyline. That was an okay storyline. But 255, 256 is storyline. 257. What was that one? That was the one, not the Great Gargoyle comes back in 258, 259. He's the captain of an alien spaceship, and he's trying to use them to get back to Earth. Oh, that's right, Spore. That's right. That's the one with Spore. Yeah, that was a dumb one. Like, you think Spore, this alien with tentacles, is trying to kill these blue-skinned aliens? This is 255, 256. And it turns out he's trying to give them another paradise. They lived on a planet. These blue-skinned aliens lived on a paradise planet, but it was destroyed by a meteorite. So then they live on this world ship called Leviathan, like Leviathan and Anon. So Leviathan. And they kill the Spore. Spore is living on the ship. It's confusing. Like I said, this is a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Anyway, long story short, Thor, the Warriors 3, and the aliens kill this Spore, and no paradise. So their fear basically killed their chances at paradise. That's the moral of the story. And then 257, 8, 9 is the fight with the aliens, and then the Great Gargoyle comes. Oh no! I'm sorry. The Stone Man of Saturn. The Stone Man from Saturn reappeared in 255, right? Or was that 257? Okay, I don't know. Just read the fucking books, guys. But I know they do fight the Stone Men. The Stone Men from Saturn came. No, that's 255. 255. 256 and 257 is the blue-skinned aliens and Spore. 258, 9 is Grey Gargoyle, and that's that. And then Annual 5 closes out the book, which was awesome because you get the epic story of how Asgard was created. Fucking Zeus makes his appearance. Look at that fucking face. That artwork by John Buscema. It's too dark. God. Written by Steve Englehart, by the way. Steve Englehart wrote Annual 5 of Thor. The creation of Asgard, the Aesir, Odin with his brothers Vili and Ve, or V, however it's pronounced. How Ymir was created, how Aska and Embla were created, the first, basically Adam and Eve. Then the Vikings and the Greeks fight, how Thor and Hercules first met and fought. Loki does these machinations, Loki lies and creates these twisted machinations, and that doesn't make sense. The twisted machinations of Loki is what I'm trying to say, causes the Olympians and the Asgardians to fight. And then Odin teaches Thor a lesson, and Zeus teaches Hercules a lesson, and it's just crazy. And then Carnilla shows Thor his future as an Avenger and becoming a hero of all on Earth. So, or Midgard, as they say. Midgard is Earth. Wow, that's a lot, guys. Oh yeah, and talks of Ragnarok, the Midgard serpent. This is a lot, guys. But that, my friends, is volume 8, War of the Gods. And War of the Gods is pertaining to the title in Annual 5 of Thor. Okay, and now, guys, let's move on. We are on fire here. Well, I'm on fire here. Volume 9 is the next one. Wow, this is a heavy one. I think this one's like 520 pages. So from 392 pages to 520, or maybe 512, I don't know. Even an Immortal Can Die, 1977 to 1979. So we're right at the tail end of the 70s. Thor number 260 to 280. Annuals 6 and 7. And Marvel Preview number 10. Okay, I don't have my glasses, so I'm blind, guys. Yeah, so how about that, guys? So that's what, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 24. So I'll probably read 8, 8, and 8. And be done by what, Sunday? So you guys probably will get a review on Sunday of this Volume 9, even an immortal can die. Look, I guess Baldur's gonna die because he's got an arrow right through his tit, right there, his man tit. And Thor's like, no. Cool, look at that too, that backside. Volume 9, guys. All right, so leave your comments down below, guys. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. That, guys, this review was Volume 8, War of the Gods. I'll see you next time, guys. I read these epics, so you don't have to, but please, I do encourage you guys to read, drink water, and be kind to one another, I guess. Maybe I should take my own advice. All right. Bye, guys. I'll see you.